Hi everyone, this is Mehul Sheikh, and in today's video we will discuss about the concept of process states transition diagram. Okay, so here I have listed down few points along with a diagram. We will try to understand this concept. Okay, so let us start our discussion. When process begins execution, it undergoes into various states. Okay, so in our last videos we have already discussed the concept of process. Okay, so whenever a process begins its execution, it undergoes into various states. The state of a process will be defined based on the activity that process will be currently in. Okay, so here I have written various states of a process under which a process needs to be execute itself. Okay, so here first state is new. Okay, whenever a process is been created for execution, okay, now that process has not executed, just now that process is been created. So when the state where a process is been created, that state is called as the new state. Next state is ready state. Now the process is ready for execution. That means when the process is been kept inside the ready queue and now it is ready to get inside the processor for execution. Okay, so that state is called the ready state. Now the process is now ready to take control over the processor. Okay, operating system has sent few processes inside the ready queue so that one by one they can get inside the processor for execution. Okay, so the state where various processes are kept inside the main memory and now they are ready for getting execution inside the processor, that state is called as the ready state. Okay, next state is the running state. Now any of the process is been sent inside the processor for getting executed. Now the processor has start executing the instruction of that process. That state is called as the running state. The process is actually executing or it is in the middle of execution of instruction by the processor. Okay, so now one by one operating system will move process inside the processor so that the instruction of that process can execute it inside the processor. The state where processor will be executing the instruction of that process, that state is called as running state. Next state is terminated state. The process has completely executed all instructions. Okay, so now processor has completely executed each and every instruction of that process and now it will send that process out of the processor. Now the next state is block or waiting. The process must wait for some event to occur. Okay, so this may be happen that during the execution of any process, some other process wants to access the processor. Okay, some high priority jobs or some high priority processes wants to access the processor. In that case, processor has to keep the currently executing process in the block or waiting state so that it can fulfill the request of high priority jobs or high priority process. In that case, the currently executing process has to be sent to the block or waiting state. The state where a process will be waiting for the processor, that state is called as block or waiting state. So these are the various states of any process. So during the execution of any process will undergo in these various states: new state, ready state, running state, terminated, or block or waiting state. Okay, now let us try to understand it further with the help of this process states transition diagram. Okay, so now by this time you guys are very much clear with all these states. Okay, so now we'll just try to understand it further in a better way with the help of this diagram. Okay, so now you can see there is a first state which is new state. As I have told you, in this state the process is just now created. At this point, this process is in the secondary memory. From there, the process will enter into the ready state. That means now the process has entered inside the main memory. So when the process came inside the main memory, then operating system will arrange these processes in a queue. Okay, and that queue is called as ready state queue. Okay, so from here, one by one, scheduler will dispatch process inside the processor. Now at this point, processor will be start executing this process. Okay, so now this state is called as running state. Okay, so now from here, three things maybe happen. First is processor might complete execution of this process and it will come out, it will finish its execution inside the processor, and it will come out from the processor and it will move to the terminated state. Okay, this may also be happen that during the processor executing that process, some interrupt gets occurred. Okay, some interrupt in the sense, suppose any input or output device wants to access that process, or any high priority job or any high priority process wants to get access the processor. At that time, the processor has to put the currently executing process into wait state so that it can fulfill the request of high priority process. Okay, or some interrupt may occur. Due to that, processor has to put the currently executing process into wait state, then it will come here, and then from the waiting state it will again move on to the ready state. Okay, and once the operating system handle this interrupt properly and processor is finishes its execution with the high priority job, then again scheduler will dispatch that process which was earlierly on the waiting state again into the processor so that it can complete its execution and then it will come out from the processor. And the third thing, this which may be happen during the execution of any process inside the processor, each and every process will be assigned some specific time slice. Okay, as you can see here, the time slice expired is been mentioned. Okay, so each and every process who will get a chance to get execute inside this processor will be assigned some time slice, and that process has to execute inside this processor within that time slice. Once that time slice gets expired, that process has to come out from the processor so that operating system can send any other process inside the processor. Okay, so this also may be happen that due to expiration of the time slice which was associated with any process gets expired, and again it will come to the wait state and then it will send to the ready state, and from this ready state it will again move on to the running state to complete its execution. Okay, so this is everything about process state transition. So this is how during the execution of any process, each and every process will undergo in various states. Okay, starting from the new state to the terminated state. Okay, it has to undergo in various states. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood what is process state transition diagram. Okay, next we will see, at any point of time only one process will be executing inside processor, although there may be n number of processes in a ready state queue waiting to assign for processor. Okay, this which we have already discussed, that at any given point of time only one process will be sent inside the processor for getting execution. Okay, although there may be n number of processes waiting inside this ready queue. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so there will be many processes keep on waiting inside the ready queue, but only one process get a chance to get inside the processor for execution. Okay. The next point, operating system assign a time slice of maximum CPU time to any process for execution inside processor until it is in the running state. Okay, as I already told you that operating system, before sending any process inside the processor, it will be setting up a time slice for each and every process, and that process has to complete its execution inside the processor within that time slice. Once the time slice gets expired, operating system will take out that process from the CPU and it will send another process inside the processor. When such allocated time slice runs out or expires, then process will be delinked from the processor by shifting it from the running state to the ready state. Once the time slice gets over, operating system will delink that process from the processor and then it will be moved back from the running state to the ready state. Operating system then select any other process from the ready queue. Okay. Now the selected process is placed in the running state and it gets the sole control of the processor for the duration of its allocated time slice. Okay. So now once the time slice gets over, expired, processor will take that process out from the processor and then send it to the ready state. Then another process will get a chance to get execute inside the CPU, and that process will be executing itself until its time slice gets expired, and then once it gets completed its execution, then it will come out from the CPU. Okay, so this was everything about the explanation for process state transition diagram. So in this video we have discussed what are those various states through which any process has to undergo if it wants to execute itself inside the processor. Okay, and we saw the process state transition diagram as well. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood each and every point of this video, and that's all for this video. If you like this video, click on like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching.